as if nothing's gonna work. It's not gonna work. All of a sudden, my phone just, I can't even go into app, watch. Work. It didn't want to work a while ago. What the hell? My back hurts. My back, my crack, everything hurts. So it says withdrawal symptoms typically last for approximately 1 month, although this may vary dependent on duration of use and dosage. Physical symptoms, nausea, vomiting, and headaches. It says of withdrawal commonly begin within 24 hours after the last dose and last for approximately 10 days. These are generally worse in the first 72 hours. So I went through the worst of it in jail. I need a brush. I had to switch phones. Hey, there's my glasses. I still don't see a freaking hairbrush. Where the hell is a hairbrush? I only had one. I have one brush. And a lot of hair. And I can't find that brush. What the fuck? So it says the first 72 hours, your physical symptoms, chills, fever, headaches, gastrointestinal problems, insomnia, muscle aches, nausea, and vomiting, and sweating. After the first week, you'll have muscle aches, pains, insomnia, and mood swings. After 2 weeks, it says depression. After 1 month, depression and drug cravings. What is this? Persistent drug cravings mean that users have a high risk of relapse a month out from stopping Suboxone. I don't know, buddy. I haven't had any cravings for heroin. Not one. Symptoms of Suboxone withdrawal are similar to withdrawal symptoms from other opioids, including anxiety, chills, depression, difficulty concentrating, digestive problems, dilated pupils, drug cravings, fever, headaches, insomnia. That's where my headaches are coming from. My head has been killing me for like a week. Irritability, muscle aches, nausea, vomiting, sweat, tiredness. Yes, I told you, I'm just like weak. Suboxone should be tapered off slowly under the guidance of a health professional. I love how they just threw my ass in jail and didn't give a fuck. Yeah, they just threw me in a cell and said, good luck. This involves slowly reducing the dosage of Suboxone over several weeks or months until you're no longer taking the drug. So it said a month that you can feel bad. Okay, I was just like, am I tripping? I thought I'd be better by now. Why do I still feel like ass? Y'all, I ran across this story that's kind of wild about this Las Vegas police officer. This dude is married, and he was the head of some special task force. It was police officers that wore street clothes, and they would go through Las Vegas looking for problems. Seriously, they were dressed as pedestrians, you know, regular clothes, no police uniforms, and they would go up to people in malls and then detain them illegally. There's been 3 different cases that that this one guy was a head of, and they have him on surveillance arresting people illegally. He had no reason to even interact with these people. 2 of them was like in a mall. One of them was out on the sidewalk just random people were walking down the street, and then all of a sudden this cop comes out of nowhere and he's like, put your hands up. Let me see what you got in your pockets. And he's like running people's pockets and shit and then arresting them. It's crazy. So it says the Las Vegas police sergeant accused of making several illegal arrests is now facing charges related to child pornography. Cannot make this shit up. Las Vegas Metropolitan Police said Wednesday night that Sergeant Kevin Menino was arrested for 2 counts of possession of visual presentation depicting SA under the age of 16 years old. New charges resulted from an ongoing investigation into the original allegations that Kevin was out here illegally arresting people. So he was actually arrested in August on multiple counts of oppression under color of office, and a grand jury returned an indictment earlier this month. They confiscated his computer when he was arrested for arresting people with no probable cause or warrant or reason to do so, okay? And on that computer, they found child pornography. This is a married man. I just want to, and first of all, I don't care what any girl tries to say. You know when there is something off with a guy. This woman that was married to him, she didn't even seem shocked or surprised by any of this. It's almost as if she knew he was crooked and a weirdo. I don't understand why people stay with people like that. The indictment alleges that Kevin fabricated incidents to detain or arrest several people where there was no probable cause. He was scheduled to appear for an arraignment hearing on Wednesday morning after posting bond for his August arrest. So here's a cop, a sergeant, okay, who wears street clothes to work every day, and he's just out walking the streets looking for people to arrest. Like, this was a private group funded by the Las Vegas Sheriff's Department. They were all cops, and it was a whole group of these guys. It was like a private task force or some shit, and they worked in unison. They worked for the Las Vegas Police Department, but these weren't just everyday patrol officers. Like, this is so weird. So it says Kevin was suspended in May pending further investigation. He was later placed on leave without pay in September. He has been employed by the department since 2014. Wow, I wonder how many innocent people are in jail for shit they didn't do. Well, I mean, there's 3 on camera. There's 3 different civilians that he arrested for no reason on camera. So just imagine how many victims there actually is, because he's been on this task force for 10 years. And he was originally assigned to the Tourist Safety Division. Then what? How do we go from tourist safety to full-fledged, I'm Batman? What in the hell is going on out here, you guys? And why is our money going to fund this bullshit? First of all, I'm going to show you him. I did read another article, and they said that he disproportionately fucked with black people. So I just want to be clear that he was out here locking up black guys. He would pull them out of the mall, wherever, and lock them up, run their pockets and lock them up. Girl. No, I want the video.
Las Vegas Metro Police Sergeant has been arrested again and now is facing child pornography charges. Good evening, I'm Marie Moore.
Come on, girl. Oh, Lord, here we go. I'm on the Wi-Fi. Elon, I really need. I'm on it. It's not gonna freaking play. Well, never mind. I done summarized anyways. What a weirdo, though. What a weirdo. And just know, he's been running the streets, locking up people for 10 years. Innocent people. Maybe some of them weren't innocent, but at the same time, regardless of what you find on them, like if he found weed or something, he wasn't even supposed to be searching them to start with. Like, he was breaking the law. I saw a report a while ago that said that 48% of small businesses can't pay their rent right now. So I guess 2025 is going to bring more bankruptcies and foreclosures. And there were 346 companies that filed to either liquidate or reorganize through bankruptcy in the first 6 months of 2024, the highest half-year level since 2010, when 467 filed. Just last month, 75 companies filed for bankruptcy, which was the biggest monthly total since the early 2020. I told you guys, I mean, it's just the job shortages, baby, you better hold on to your job. That's all I'm saying. Because next year is going to be a fucking bumpy fucking ride. The majority of businesses that have gone belly up are considered consumer discretionary, a broad category of firms that sell goods or services that people don't need every day, such as restaurants, clothing stores, car dealerships. Most of the businesses are also considered small or mid-sized economics and investors. Interest rates are at their highest level in nearly a quarter of a century. I mean, it's true, though. Ride down any damn what used to be busy strip of a city, and, like, businesses are just not even there anymore. I mean, at least in North Carolina, they're not. They've saw a decrease in applications to start new businesses. Not good. 48% of small businesses can't pay their mortgage. That's what it was. They can't afford to pay their rent. It's crazy. So this guy, this Mike Jeffries dude, the former Abercrombie and Fitch CEO, he was arrested on sex trafficking charges. I don't know what's going on in 2024. Was it the Sound of Freedom that, like, kicked all this shit off? Because how many people have been arrested this year for sex trafficking? Quite a few. It's almost like they already knew they were out here doing shit, right? So it says Mike Jeffries, the former CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch, has been arrested on sex trafficking and interstate prostitution charges. Jeffries was arrested in West Palm Beach, Florida. Two associates, Matthew Smith of West Palm Beach and James Jacobson of Wisconsin, were also arrested in connection with sex trafficking charges. Jeffries and Smith made their initial court appearance in West Palm Beach on Tuesday afternoon. Jeffries, who was the controversial CEO of the popular clothing brand from 92 to 2014, was released on a $10 million bond later. God, what's the freaking 15%? That's $1.5 million, right? I could be, my number, 15% is what you got to post with a bondsman. You're not going to pay the $10 million. You're going to pay $1.5 million. Unless you got $10 million house, I mean, you can put your property up. As long as you don't miss court, they're not going to take your shit. I wonder how he got out. That's a high-ass bond. But, I mean, it is Abercrombie & Fitch. $100 jeans, right? So it says, a judge, Bruce E. Reinhart, ordered that he be confined to home detention with GPS monitoring and that he could not travel without approval and must surrender his passport. Can I just say that this man looks crazy? Stop fooling with your freaking faces, please. Like, sir, you look like a demon. Does he not? He looks evil. Stop, please. You're getting scary out here. Please love yourself. So it says Jeffries, Smith, and Jacobson each face a single count of sex trafficking as well as 15 counts of interstate prostitution tied to 15 alleged victims. Now, what these men were doing this guy was over Abercrombie and Fitch. They would have these models that would come and do these ads, and he was using it as his opportunity to prey upon the weak and vulnerable. There were a lot of budding models, newcomers, that they would force into sexual positions and into having sex with them, or else they wouldn't get certain gigs and certain contracts and make certain money. They disproportionately picked people that come from impoverished backgrounds. What I'm always talking about. So it's just ironic. So it says, I don't care what he was wearing. It's literally telling me what he had on in court. I don't give a flip. I want to know what he did. So it says a federal indictment alleges Jeffries, along with Smith, his romantic partner, and Jacobson, who was described as a recruiter, proprietor of young girls, Ghislaine Maxwell, operated an, quote, international sex trafficking and prostitution business from 2008 to 2015. Sounds about right. So they're escorting young male models, like, y'all. So it says it alleges that they organized sex events in England, France, Italy, Morocco, St. Bart's, New York City, and the Hamptons for Jeffrey, Smith, and others. They employed coercive, fraudulent, and deceptive tactics in connection with the recruitment, hiring, transportation, obtaining, maintaining, solicitation, and payment of men to engage in commercial sex. The men who attended the events were led to believe it could lead to modeling opportunities or help their careers, or, quote, that not complying with requests for certain acts during the sex events could harm his career. Poor guys. The youngest of the alleged victims was just 19. Many of the victims, at least one of whom, were financially vulnerable and aspired to become models in the fashion industry, a notoriously cutthroat world. Indeed, some of the men they recruited had previously worked at Abercrombie stores or modeled for Abercrombie. The men were required to sign an NDA, baby. No. Anybody that wants you to sign a fucking NDA, you ball it up and tell them to shove it up their ass. You don't sign shit, bitch. Never sign a non-disclosure agreement. Ever. I mean, that's just telltale sign there's some sketchy shit going on. That's just, it's a telltale sign. The men were required to sign a non-disclosure agreement and surrender their wallets and cell phones during the events. What the hell? How creepy! Ugh, make my skin crawl. Ugh. Jeffrey, Smith, and Jacobson are also alleged to have recruited, hired, and paid an exclusive set of household staff members to, quote, facilitate and supervise the sex events. Unbelievable. The staff members provided Jeffrey, Smith, and the men who attended with alcohol, muscle relaxants known as poppers, lubricant, Viagra, condoms, among other items. I'm laughing because I'm fucking uncomfortable. So weird, okay? It's like P. Diddy with the damn baby oil. The indictment said, okay, get back on track. Either Jacobson or the staff members paid the men for attending the sex events. So Jeffries and Smith, they would never pay the men for sex. They always had a third party that would come in and pay the money. They're out here. It says on occasions when witnesses threatened to expose or sue these guys, Jeffries and Smith relied on the services of a security company to surveil and intimidate those individuals, thereby securing their silence. These are some dangerous motherfucking people, y'all. The trio used burner phones for communications. They spent millions on the sex trafficking enterprises, from paying staff members to paying for travel to paying to maintain secrecy. Boy, you done fucked up now. I hope you like men. Because that's all you seeing for the rest of your life, baby. That's all you seeing. You done fucked up now. You deserve to be under the jail, sir. The detention memo says some victims were paid directly in cash that amounted to hundreds of thousands of dollars. The operation used a referral system and interview process. Let me tell you how this goes. They'll call, and then they'll verify that the guy that wants to come to the sex party is who he says he is. They'll usually do it through their work, believe it or not, which is crazy. But they verify. It says referral and interview process. They interview these guys and make sure, number one, that they're right in the fucking mind, that they're not going to be, roughing up their escorts, victims, sex trafficking victims, okay? But they collect actually information on these guys to ensure that these guys never run their mouth at a later time. Just FYI. So it says the operation used a referral system and interview process during which the men who were allegedly preyed upon were not informed about the details of the sex events before they attended. During those tryouts of potential candidates, Jacobson typically had candidates first engage in commercial sex acts with him. At the events, the men were pressured to drink and consume poppers on more than one occasion when men did not or could not consent. Jeffries and Smith violated the bodily integrity of these men by subjecting them or continuing to subject them to invasive sexual and violent contact by... Y'all, I can't read half of this. They victimized these men bad. Jeffries and Smith ordered staff members to inject some victims with a prescription-grade erection-inducing substance for the purpose of causing the men to engage in sex acts in which they were not otherwise physically capable or unwilling. I don't understand how shit goes on like this for so long and nobody does anything. It's very disheartening because this could have been stopped back in 2008. I mean, it sounds like they were living just to get it on. Their lives were just consumed by sex parties. I mean, you're sick in the head. Like, bad. So they have dozens of witnesses who may testify. They have been powerful individuals for too long, have trafficked and abused for their own sexual pleasure, young people with few resources in a dream of securing a successful career in fashion or entertainment. He warned people who think they can exploit or coerce by using the so-called casting couch system to trade couch for a bed in federal prison. Now, that's the prosecutor talking about locking these guys up. The BBC published an explosive report a year ago that said Jeffries had been accused of exploiting men at sex parties he hosted. The report said that 12 men described having attended or organized events that included sex acts for Jeffrey and his partner Smith. And those events took place from 2009 to 2015. Some of the men who spoke to the BBC said that they were exploited and did not participate willingly. So they're racist. The company also faced multiple discrimination lawsuits during Jeffrey's reign. I don't know what they're stemming from. They could have, So, Abercrombie and Fitch and Jeffries was sued over allegations they turned a blind eye to the allegations against Jeffries. The civil suit alleged he sexually abused numerous men after having lured them with the promise of covenant modeling contracts. So when this officer was asked whether sex trafficking may have been continued after 2015, they said that this is an ongoing investigation and encouraged any victims or witnesses to come forward. Y'all, this is wild. I got chill bumps. So creepy, man. People just, devil don't even hide anymore, does he? He's just out here walking amongst us, acting like he's trying to give you a modeling contract. Sickos. So, we'll definitely keep an eye on that and see what's gonna happen with that. My assumption is, it's just like the P. Diddy thing. I think that they're gonna burn them at the stake. I think they're gonna throw them under. I think that there's probably more people involved, and the best that they can do is try to confine it. You know what I mean? Try to roast his ass and his 2 business partners and throw them under the jail and hope that it's enough to shut the whole thing down. But you best believe that people knew about this crap. Yeah. People knew about this crap. Where was that? New York? People knew. Just like Lou Pearlman. Everybody knew he was a weirdo. And people know. I just don't know how you act like you... I physically could not go around somebody like that. If I know that something like that is going on, I physically cannot. I can't help myself. I have to say something. And then I'm the bad guy. And then, you know, like, I physically cannot be around evil like that. I would say something. And speaking of evil, let's talk about the Delphi, Indiana murders. So for those that don't know, there was 2 girls, 2 teens that went missing February 13th of 2017. These 2 girls were dropped off by their family members, Libby and Abby. I don't remember. Let's see how old they were. They were young, y'all. I'm not seeing it. Their family dropped them off. It's a wooded area with this big, beautiful bridge that's real old or whatever. And, sorry. When their family came back to pick them up, the girls went out to the woods. They were going to just go walking and enjoy this, you know, the scenery. So Abby Williams was just 13, and then Rose Lynn Libby is what they called her, was 14. So they were super young. They were dropped off by their parents. They went out to the woods, and then they crossed paths with somebody that killed them. The girls never come out of the woods that day. Search party ensued. There was a guy that actually found the girls dead. Up until the start of the trial, first of all, let me backtrack. This went unsolved for like 2.5 years. They didn't know who did it. They had interviewed hundreds of suspects. They didn't have enough evidence to really hone in on anybody until there was a Snapchat photo and there was a voice on the Snapchat. It was a video that one of the girls had taken, and you can hear the man in the video saying, "Go down the hill." And it was like, that was it. That's all that you can hear. He's like, "This way, go down the hill," and the video cuts off. Somehow, that piece of evidence, along with this idiot being an idiot, they were able to get this guy 2.5 years after. And it says the trial of Richard Allen continues Thursday in Delphi, Indiana. On Wednesday, jurors learned more about the movements of Abby Williams, and Liberty Libby German before they died. Now, Richard Allen is 52, and he's accused of killing the teens who went missing in February of 2017, and they were found dead the next day. He was arrested in 2022 and faced 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of murder while kidnapping Abby and Libby's death. Up until this point, we did not know how the girls died. They had never released that information. Through this trial unfolding, we learned that both of the girls' throats were cut. One of them actually was cut. It was 3 jagged holes, and like he had gotten her arteries and everything. It's really sad, y'all. On Wednesday, the jury heard testimonies from Sarah something, a witness who saw a man covered in mud and blood. A semi-retired forensic pathologist who conducted the autopsy on the teens in 2017 found that both of their throats had been cut. One of the girls was completely naked. It was horrific. It was a lot of blood. The medical examiner said that they thought that it would take somewhere between 5 to 10 minutes for each of the girls to die after, once their throat had been cut. Y'all, it's just so sad. So it says a former Indiana State Police digital forensic expert, Sergeant Christopher Cecil, also took the stand and outlined a timeline of the girls' movements based on an analysis of Libby's iPhone. He also talked about analyzing 23 of Richard Allen's devices in 2022. So sad. I mean, me personally, I thought that, Abigail Williams only being 13 and Liberty German only being 14. I thought, me personally, I think that that's kind of young to just drop some kids off in a random secluded area like this. I understand that it's two of them, but in my opinion, I just think that that is too young to be out in the wilderness on this huge bridge, you guys. I mean, it's not the type of place that if you're not local, you're not going to know that area. The only way you would know that area is if you're local, but it's very, not only dangerous area, but it's very secluded. And me personally, I wouldn't want my youngins out there. I would never drop my kids off somewhere like that and be like, call me when you're done. Like, what? It says the trial for the man charged in the 2017 of the two Delphi, Indiana girls who were killed while taking pictures along a hiking trail is underway. After years of mystery surrounding the case, the murders of Abigail and Liberty German went without an arrest for more than 5 years, until Richard Allen was charged with the crime that shocked the small community of around 3,000 residents. So it says they vanished while hiking along a trail near their hometown about 60 miles northwest of Indianapolis. That afternoon, one of Libby's family members dropped the girls off at a near Moon High Bridge where the two went hiking on a nearby trail. Hours later, a relative arrived to pick the girls up, but they never showed up. Their bodies were found the next day in a wooded area about 3 miles from the abandoned railroad bridge where they were dropped off. The murders uprooted the small Indiana community of Delphi, leaving many to wonder who could commit such a heinous act. The two killed two teenage best friends who had their whole lives ahead of them. 2 days following Libby and Abby's disappearance, Indiana State Police released photos of a man who was seen on a hiking trail around the same time the girls were there and asked the public to help identify him. The pictures taken on Libby's phone showed an unidentified man heading across the bridge and towards the teens, and you could hear his voice. When the police announced they were seeking to identify the person in question, it wasn't until 4 days later when they officially named him a suspect. About a week later, the state police investigators released an audio recording of a male voice saying down the hill, asking for anyone who can identify the voice to come forward. Police hailed the girl as a hero for recording potentially crucial evidence. It's like she knew. She knew. She knew. When he was guiding her and telling her to go down the fucking hill, she knew something was going to happen. Authorities on July 17, 2017 released a sketch of a man considered the main suspect in the girls' killings based on descriptions of someone who was believed to have seen him. A composite sketch depicts a white man with a prominent nose and a goatee who's wearing a cap and what appeared to be a hooded sweater. The police said the suspect had reddish-brownish hair and stood between 5'6" and 5'10" and weighed probably 180 to 220 pounds. 2 years after their deaths, Indiana State Police released video and audio of the man they believed that was responsible for the murders, as well as a new composite sketch of the suspect. The footage was taken from one of the girls' phones just minutes before their deaths, who said they believed their killer was either living in Delphi or previously lived in Delphi and visited or worked in the town. The police sketch did not help, you guys, because this looks nothing like him. Like, this is why it is so imperative to have police investigators that give a damn, because they probably could have got this guy if they would have had a good sketch artist. Like, that looks nothing like him. In October of 22, an arrest was made in the case. Allen, a drugstore worker from Delphi, was taken into custody and formally charged with 2 counts of murder. During an initial hearing, he entered a primary plea of not guilty. At the time, a probable cause affidavit was unsealed, claiming a bullet found near the children's body was linked to a gun belonging to the suspect. Carroll County prosecutors sought the gag order amid intense media coverage, and it prevented nearly everyone associated with the case, including lawyers, law enforcement officials, and family members, from speaking publicly. In June of 2023, hundreds of pages of documents in the case were unsealed, revealing that imprisoned, Allen allegedly confessed to his wife in a phone call a couple of months earlier that he committed the murders. Prosecutors also say he confessed to other people, including staff and inmates at the maximum state prison where he was being held. Allen allegedly made more than 60 confessions while he was incarcerated in state prison. His lawyer is trying to say that he has schizophrenic and delusional thoughts, that he's not in his right mind, that he's losing his memory, and blah, 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 and that these aren't actual confessions. They're an overall inability to communicate rationally with counsel and family members. What? No. He's losing his mind because he did some evil fucking shit. That's the devil still in his soul. That's why he's confessing. While Allen's defense is expected to counter any evidence of an alleged confession, his lawyers won't get to tell a jury one alternate theory for the killings. I'm sorry, I got an itch. So at some point it says, last month they denied their bid to claim that Abby and Libby were murdered as part of a ritualistic sacrifice by those linked to Odnism. What the frick? A Norse pagan religion that has spread amongst white nationalist group. Lord have mercy. What the hell is this? Let's Google. Let's give it a go. O-D-I... Shit. O-D-I-N-I-S-M. What is this shit? This wasn't no ritualistic shit. This was a fucking weirdo that was damn... He's a weirdo. He's a pervert. Plain and simple. Why y'all gotta make shit out of nothing? Listen, we know what pedophiles are. Stop making up new dumb shit. A pedophile is a pedophile, baby. A neo-pagan religion drawing on... Drawing on images of fiercely proud boar-hunting Norsemen and their white-skinned Aryan women folk is increasingly taking root among skinheads, neo-Nazis, and other white supremacists across the nation. Lovely. What? I mean, let's just throw in some crazy people. I mean, we're already living in a clown world. It makes perfect sense. I didn't even know these people existed. So it says, Astru leaders have opened prison ministries in at least 5 states recently, and their main jailed followers are heavily white supremacists. A leading pro-setinizer, I have no idea, imprisoned terrorist David Lane has been writing prolific and influencing many to adopt his racist interpretations. Bob Matthews, the late founder of the order, of which Lane was a member, adopted a series of related beliefs. A Denver skinhead who confessed to the November murder of a man because he was black bears and a strato tattoo. What? I'm so confused. Okay, so it's ASATRU. Astra. Listen, an Icelandic word meaning belief in the Aesir or gods, has officially been recognized as a religion in Iceland since 1972. Historically, its architects have avoided racist interpretations of its Eurocentric cosmology. Lord have mercy. Can y'all speak English? Can you write this shit in English, please? Can you write it in Southern drawl, please, for me? Y'all. Okay, so this is some sort of Iceland religion. The religion which revives a pre-Christian... it's that fucking difficult. Pantheon of Norse gods. It's appealing to white supremacists because it mythologizes the virtues of early Northern European whites, seen as wandering barbarians, deeply involved in a mystical relationship with nature, struggling heroically against the elements. What in the caveman is going on? It sings the virtues of the tribe or folk, strongly emphasizing genetic closeness, and it credits whites with building civilization and an ethic of individual responsibility, even as they boldly slew wild boars, fought for their tribes, and explored the far reaches of the unknown world. Odonism? Is that how you say it? Shit, let's learn how to say it before we learn about it, okay? What the frick? So I feel like I'm looking up Antifa shit. I hope they never get my computer, because they gonna have me on a watch list. Be like, this bitch looks up the craziest shit. How to say. How to pronounce. There we go. Norse mythology from Iceland. The more you know. Another religion. I love studying religion, you guys. I've took every damn world religion course you can. So interesting how people...
Odinism.
Odinism? Bitch, you got an accent. Odinism?
Odinism.
Odinism. Alright. Whoa. Here's something about Hitler. Odinism, which is closely related to Astru, was much favored in Nazi Germany. Its Nordic Teutonic mythology was a bedrock of belief for key Third Reich leaders, and it was an integral part of the initiation riots, and the elites were heavily involved in it, which supervised Adolf Hitler's network of death camps. Decades later, Oddinism, also influenced by George Lincoln Rockweller's American Nazi Party. Jesus Christ. How scary. They don't even hide, do they? So what does this have to do with the Delphi murders, though? Like, what were they trying to say? That this guy, Alan, is a part of... I just don't understand. Let's just read. Hold on. While the defense said in a memo that details from the crime scene may suggest some type of occult practice, Gold ultimately found that, quote, the probative value of such evidence is greatly outweighed by confusion of the issues and its potentially to mislead the jury. And it says that the prosecutor, Nick McLeland, downplayed the Oddinism theory as a conspiracy theory for social media to devour. Great. So jury selection started last Monday. So weird. How creepy. I'm hungry. Need to eat me some food. I got heartburn too. I'm just falling apart. When was this? Day 5. Citing autopsy photos and digital forensics. So it says day 5 of the Delphi murder trial included testimony from a witness who's claimed to have seen Bridge Guy on the day that Abby Williams and Libby German were last seen by their family on February 13th of 2017. Richard Allen is accused of killing Williams and German in 2017. On Wednesday, the state called witness number 19, Sarah Carbog, to the stand. She gave a fiery testimony that lasted for around an hour. She said she often walked her dog and that she was on the Moon High Bridge Trail on February 13th, 2017. Sarah describes herself as local as you can get, testified around 4 p.m. that day that she saw a man covered in mud and blood walking alongside the road. I looked at him, but he did not make eye contact with me, she said from the stand. She made a mental note of it, and she even says, quote, I'm going to label him Bridge Guy because that's how I know him by. Later, she said she was at home when she heard an Amber Alert. She recognized the man shown in the photo on the local news as the man she had seen on the road on February 13th. God, girl, I'm getting 12 months. How creepy. Sarah did not immediately come forward to talk with authorities. She eventually talked with the local police investigators 3 weeks later. She said she had been traumatized by the murders and she was panicking. Sarah saw a police officer at a roadblock in Delphi asking for tips regarding the case. She called that a sign from God to report what she had saw that day. Whew. Y'all don't understand. If they didn't have her, their case might not be as set in stone, and it's not. These things, you see how my shit be going wild, okay? The courtroom, you never know what's going to happen. Never. So that's great that she came forward. She saw something, even if it was late. During cross-examination, the defense questioned Sarah's account, claiming she changed her story during the police interviews more than once. Forensic pathologist Dr. Roland Kerr, who performed the autopsies on the bodies of Williams and German, was the next person to take the stand on Wednesday morning. The doctor had served at the county coroner in some town. He said he had done 77,000 to 78,000 100,000 autopsies in his career. Jesus Christ, almost 100,000 dead bodies you've seen? Whew. He was called as a witness for the prosecution. His testimony began with a 30-minute narration of what goes into doing an autopsy and what the examiner is trying to learn. The autopsy revealed, I read another report, it said 3. So every report is freaking different. This is the media that we have nowadays. The autopsy revealed Williams had 5 to 6 centimeter long wound, approximately 2-inch long cuts on the left side of her neck. The doctor said it was not a deep cut, only an inch deep, in the doctor's words. He stated there was some skin damage to the right side, which he believes suggests the cut was made from right to left. The doctor observed livor mortis on Abby's body, which he describes as a purplish area where blood settles after a body has been in the same position for a long period of time. And we've talked about lividity and post rigor mortis. He says they found livor mortis on her upper back and the back of William's legs. She had been laying on her back position for long periods of time after death. So the doctor said livor mortis sets in after a person has been dead for at least 8 hours. The doctor said there was something that looked like a smear on one of William's arms. He says that it may have come when she was given Libby's sweatshirt. Many of the people in the courtroom were visibly shaken as photos of the autopsies were shown on the large TV screen. Family members cried. The doctor also testified about the autopsy he did on Libby German. He said German had 4 wounds on her neck and possibly a 5th. 2 of the wounds overlapped. He said that there was an X-like pattern in the larger wound on German's neck. He says it's likely there were 2 passes made that resulted in that wound. Jesus fucking Christ, what a psycho. He was unsure of what he called the middle wound. He believed it could have been a second pass with a weapon, but wasn't certain. He also noted a few small abrasions below German's neck. He observed there were changes in the pattern of the cuts and said if a person was drawing away as they were being cut, it could cause some changes. There were 5 marks on the edge of the wound on the right side of Libby's neck. Those marks were 1 millimeter wide with a space between them. The doctor initially thought that a knife was used to make the cuts, but he says he thought about the cut marks in the past few months. He now believes a box cutter was used as a weapon. The doctor was asked by an attorney what happens to a body with wounds like these. He responded, bleeding will not be under pressure. It would be slower. It would happen over several minutes. As blood volume drops significantly, the body will go into shock. Organs will lose function. The person will lose consciousness, but they would not be dead right away. So you're just laying there knowing that you're bleeding out in the middle of the fucking woods and nobody's coming for you. The doctor estimated what he called a, quote, very ballparkish timeline for the expiration, how long it took the girls to die. That was based on the positions of the body. Still sitting would take longer to lose enough blood, at least 5 to 10 minutes, maybe longer. Laying down would go faster than standing up. Note to self, if my throat's hanging out, lay down so I can go faster. Lord have mercy. As for Libby German, the doctor said her blood loss was more rapid than Williams, and he estimated she would have gone into shock more quickly because of that. He also testified that she had blood all over her hands. He estimated German would have died 5 to 10 minutes, but when bad shit like this is happening, those minutes are dragging by. Those 5 to 10 minutes probably felt like hours to those girls. He estimated German would have died in at least 5 to 10 minutes, but guessed it likely would have been closer to 5 minutes based on the severity of her injuries. The doctor also noted that German had swelling of her brain due to less oxygen. Neither girl had any signs of sexual trauma or defensive wounds. What in the world? Like, what in the world? That is so weird. Like, thank God they weren't assaulted, but that's weird. We don't typically see that. Did he get freaked out? And I don't know. Was this some, what they call it, ritualistic killing? I don't know, but it's weird that neither one of them had any signs of sexual trauma or defensive wounds. It's very weird. The doctor testified he did not see any crime scene photos until this year, which was after his report had been issued. The doctor could not determine the exact type of weapon used or the length of the blade. He said it could have been anything from a pocket knife to a kitchen knife. And there was no way for him to tell if it was right-handed or left-handed. For Libby, the doctor suggested she was dragged from another location based on the debris found on her leg. He also said the saturated area of the wound could be from a handle of an instrument or weapon. He said he can't say definitively that it was a box cutter. I don't understand. I got more questions now than when I began. The final witness called to the stand Wednesday afternoon was Indiana State Police Sergeant Chris Cecil. He said he has examined digital evidence for hundreds of cases during a 20-year law enforcement career. Cecil volunteered to re-examine Lily's iPhone 6. His first written report was in 2019. The phone had been examined several times in 2017 after it was found near the girls' bodies. Data revealed Abby and Libby each accessed social media accounts on their phones on February 13th of 2017. The data from the Apple Health app said the last time the phone logged movement was at 2:32 p.m. So there's a timeline. So the video that Libby recorded was only 43 seconds long. And that was the video where he's telling her to go down the hill. And there was no phone activity after 4:34. "23 devices taken from the home of Richard Allen on November 8th of 22 were examined by Cecil. He said the data recovered showed no communication between those devices and Williams or German. Cecil added that there were no connections to Allen having a connection to the girl's death." And that's actually not true. Richard Allen, processed photos for both of these families. These families were serviced by him because he was a pharmacy tech. Not only was he a pharmacy tech, but he used to process photos at CVS. This man had seen pictures of Libby and Abby. Absolutely. So I don't even know why they threw that in there saying that they had no connection to the girls' deaths. He knew exactly who these girls were. He had processed photos of these girls in CVS. The family would go through the drive-thru to get medications. This is a very small town. He had probably been watching those girls for years. Fucking weirdo. Cecil testified that he did, however, find an internet search history regarding Abby and Libby in a news article on one of Allen's devices. So he actually found an internet search history where this man, Allen, was looking up these girls. What did I fucking say? On redirect, prosecuting attorney McLeland pointed out that Allen's cell phone from 2017 was not among the 23 devices taken. Investigators say they have no idea where that device might be. So now his cell phone's missing too? Yeah, I bet he'd been watching them for quite a while. When the attorneys were finished questioning Cecil, the jury asked 16 questions. Some of them focused on blah, 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 the phone, messages. Y'all, this is so sad. Pisses me off. It pisses me off. I bet everybody just thought he was just the town pharmacist. I'm sure I could have knew I could have been like, I mean, he looks weird, so I just get this vibe, like, if I would have met him, I would have been like, yep, that's him. I can just see people that way. What a creep. And what is that? 2 different officers in, like, 2 weeks, both harming children? The other guy from Las Vegas. Everybody knew he was a weirdo. Nobody said shit. Nobody said it. I would have said it. Oh, let's see. I'm hungry. I gotta get me some food. I'm looking in the news. See what's happening today in the world. We need to go to the grocery store and get some food. I might cook me a steak tonight. When I get one, I can't eat the whole thing because, like, I eat like a bird. So I have to cut it in half and eat, like, the other half the next day. There's really nothing going on in the world today. Come on, y'all. Get out and get crazy so I got something to report on. Seriously. I'm not seeing anything good. Come on, where's my Florida mans? I know. Oh, I did see this. Y'all, there was some bitch that got in trouble for she worked for the Department of Social Services, and she was out here stealing. It says government employees accused of EBT fraud as food stamp theft is on the rise. Now, this is from the Shade Room. I read somewhere about that. Hold on one second. Social workers stealing EBT. It was the Department of Human Services supervisor and her daughter. Can't make this shit up. DSS worker accused of bulking snap of $30,000. Jesus freaking Christ. And I'm literally out here like penny to penny. And this bitch has got $30,000 of assets of food stamps. A Goldsboro woman. Is this her? I don't know if this is her. Hold on. A Goldsboro woman is accused of stealing more than $30,000 from the federal food stamp program when she worked as an employee at the Johnson County Department of Social Services. An investigation into the activity began on December 14th when a DSS contacted the Johnson County Sheriff's Office to report misuse of the funds. The report alleged 44-year-old Shamika Nicole McCary used several EBT accounts of other clients to order more than $30,000 in goods that was delivered to her home address. What an idiot. The activity was reportedly discovered after a client called DSS to ask why her EBT card balance was at 0. She's been charged with 10 counts of obtaining property under false pretenses, embezzlement, accessing computers, identity theft, and the illegal possession of or use of food stamps. All of the charges are felonies. She's being held in the Johnson County Detention Center under a $1 million bond. Way to go. At least they did something right. Like, that is crazy. You got to be pretty stupid, Ma. I mean, you couldn't, like, send the shit to somebody else's house and scooped it up later. Like, for real, you gonna use your home address? You pretty dumb. There she is. You done fucked up now, girl. Those some damn federal charges, ain't it? Is that I don't know if that's... I mean, they're felonies, but... You would think that that would be like a federal offense, being a damn social worker and doing something illegal like that. They should be penalized. That needs to be a whole charge, especially when you're in a position of power like that and then you misuse it. There should be a charge for that. Y'all, I'm about to go get me some food. I don't know what I want. Do I want the rest of that sub? If I want the sub, I gotta take it out the fridge, let it thaw out, because I don't like it cold. It has to be room temperature. Did y'all see that there was like 150,000 immigrants headed towards the southern border? It's like huge caravans of people. Exactly what I said they were going to do last year when I told you guys. I said 4,000, 2,000. This is crazy. I mean, I told you guys, I said at the last freaking moment, right before Trump gets into office, they're going to run that border. And they got whole caravans, bitches. Whole caravans. They got strollers. They've been walking for days with babies in strollers. I lie to you not. I lie to you not. So I see one here for 1,000, another 3,000, 2,000, 4,000. Start adding up. Get your calculator out. These are all, oh God. So it's approximately 7,000 people, mainly from Central and South America, including thousands of children. This is out of the BBC. And this has been going on for over a week now. I think I mentioned it before I went to jail, but I wanted to update you guys. Not good. Not good. I mean, I'm just saying that your children and you look like y'all are clothed and fed. And look, this don't look like no third world shit to me. That's a nice stroller and some nice damn clothes. They look very well taken care of, the whole family. Let's not forget, 18% of immigrants actually have a bachelor's degree. So, are they like, do they need help, or, you know what I mean? I mean, I'm sure it's not easy to live in Cuba and places like that, but like, we're not getting a lot of Cubans. Well, we are, but not as many as back in the 60s and 70s. But we are getting a lot of people from the south of the border. We're getting people from all over the world. My head's gonna explode. I gotta stop. Ugh. Y'all, I feel so lazy. I hate this feeling. I woke up this morning at like 2 or 3 and I was on fire. Like, it was so hot. I had to step out the car because I felt like I was gonna melt to death. It was probably from that liquor. Oh, it like shoots my blood pressure up, honey. I get so hot after I drink. Like, I'll wake up the next morning and it feels like I got a damn 105 temperature or something. I mean, I'm just radiating heat like a radiator. Oh, I'm gonna get some food. Throw all this trash away. Because God knows it's never ending. I did get me a Gatorade. What is this? Cucumber? Lime. I don't like the smell of it, but I like the taste of it. Kinda. It got, like, it hurts my jaws. It's a little sour. Oh my God, the trash. Am I for real right now? I need to wash my ass. Probably gonna do that. I hope I don't feel like this for the next month. I can't. I physically cannot. Like, I have so much to do. And I'm simply just existing and trying to function around all of the detox symptoms, which sucks. But we've made it this far. And I'm going to stick with it. That does kind of freak me out, though, that Suboxone, what we read online, it said that people who come off Suboxone, within the first month of coming off Suboxone, you have a high probability of relapsing. Why you gotta freaking scare me like that? Like, what? They're probably just gaslighting you so you stay on it. Like, I haven't had any cravings since I got clean. Like, I knew I wanted to get clean when I got clean 4 years ago. So, like, I got clean and I focused on being clean. I do understand that it's not that easy for other people, and I'm so grateful that God has blessed me with, like, strength to, like, not have cravings and stuff, because I could have went the whole other direction, you know, because I loved getting high. But there comes a point where it's not fun anymore, and you don't want to be high anymore. Like, the dope ain't even hitting anymore. Like, you shoot $600 and you still sick, bitch. Like, the dope ain't even hitting anymore. What's the point? Like, I knew I wanted to get clean, so I did. I just think that it's kind of dangerous to tell people that they shouldn't come off of a medication that, honestly, they don't need. Like, I didn't need the medication. I thought I did because that's what they told me to take, you know? So, that's what I did. I listened to the doctor, and in all actuality, the medication is probably, I mean, it has held me back. Financially, I've probably spent, I don't even know. I mean, if it's on the low end, $300 a month for 4 years. And there were times where I'd have to leave one doctor and go to a different doctor, and shit, that's $600 out the gate to see a new damn provider. So, like, the first initial cost is like $500, and then you got your script cost. So, you know, I bounced between 2 or 3 different doctors for 4 years. At one point, I was even buying the shit off the street because it was cheaper, and I had my prescription bottle, and I just stuff them in there. Lord. But, like, it was really unnecessary for me to be on it. I now recognize that it took me a week to be able to even take the Suboxone because I had so much dope in me. I had to dry out for a week before I could even take the medication. I should have just continued to dry out. You know what I mean? But also, I will say that at the time, the Suboxone was a lifesaver for me because I was going through a really hard time trying to get clean. I'd went to rehab. Rehab sucked because it's a state-run facility. They were so stupid. They didn't even know how to recognize the difference between trauma and methamphetamine use. I was on heroin. Hello. I never fucked with meth. But I against medical advice, I checked myself out. I got high for a few more weeks, and then I was like, fuck this. I cut my phone off, and I went through it by myself. And then on day like 6 or 7, I don't even remember. It was almost a full week. I remember taking that Suboxone and laying there thinking, oh God, am I going to go into precipitated withdrawals and then have to go buy dope to get myself back on track, because it's one thing to withdraw. It's a whole nother thing to go through fucking precipitated withdrawals. Like, you will put a gun to your head. You will just end it all right fucking there. And it's really sad that that medication has a propensity to put people into that state of mind any fucking way. So maybe it's not a good drug. Maybe that's actually very dangerous to have people who are already half fucking clean, and then you give them an opiate, because Suboxone's an opiate. Then you give them an opiate that essentially, I mean, you don't get high. That's for damn sure. See, that's the great thing about Suboxone. I will admit that that's the great thing. There's a ceiling effect. You can't get high on Suboxone if you've done heroin. It don't work like that, baby. You can take the whole damn bottle, all damn 30 strips, and you still gonna be feeling the same way you was feeling when you didn't, when you took one strip. For folks that have had opioid dependency for long periods of times through their lives, that's why Suboxone is a great drug, because it fills in the gaps so that you can get back to living your normal best life. Some people ain't got 2-3 months to lay around being fucking sick coming off of heroin. Some people have to have that medication because their lives are time sensitive, they got jobs, they got kids, they have, I don't know how I feel about the medication at this point. I do see now that my life fucking revolved around it. Anytime I wanted to go out of town, I had to make sure I had enough medicine, Like, you can't go somewhere and just up and move to a whole nother state because you have that medication. And you can't just switch doctors to another state until you can prove your residency and it's complex. So I was tied to the state of North Carolina because of that freaking medicine. I get something to eat. That medication, I don't know. I think I could have done it without it. But at the time, that's not necessarily true, though. I've done Suboxone before and then did enough dope, push that Suboxone back out your system. So it just depends. If you're on Suboxone for a long time and then you decide to go get high, you know that Suboxone is going to block most of that dope. But I think at the time it helped me, like, I don't know. I didn't even look back, y'all. When I decided to get clean, I did not look back. I freaking blocked everybody. I went missing. I didn't give a fuck, okay? When I put my mind to it, I said, I'm going to do this, and I did it. And I didn't look back. Plain and simple. You got to want it. You got to, I don't know, envision your life. I definitely didn't envision my fucking life looking like this. I thought that things would get better, not worse. The irony. You cannot make this shit up. Life was supposed to get better. What the fuck? It's progressively gotten worse. The past 4 years have been hell. It's been hell on fucking earth. Hell on earth since I got clean. Yep. I genuinely thought that getting clean would make all my problems go away and life would get so better and I'd fucking fall into a career and finish school and da-da-da-da. Inflation hit. The pandemic. Just life is just not what it was. It's like we're living in the new world, but it's not the new world. It's more like the bad world. I don't know. It's definitely not the world that I envisioned when I got clean. Sucks. All right, I'm going to eat my sub and wash my earth. We can pack my bath bag. This place is a fucking pigsty. I'm so disgusted with myself. Like, seriously, somebody please clean this junk pile up. I don't even know what is going on. I mean, honestly, I wonder what the weather's going to be today. Hey, Siri. Hey, yo, bitch. What's the weather going to be? Oh, shit, I guess I drank some of this last night. No wonder I passed out. Probably shouldn't mix that with alcohol. Oopsie. I don't know how I ain't never wound up dead yet. I mean, I have. Like half a dozen times. That's why. It's a beautiful morning. Oh, my stomach is growling, honey. I said, hey, yo, bitch. Feed me a biscuit. I can't find shit to wear. My hair is swinging like it just don't care. Hey, don't you love when you find something you didn't know you had? Bitch. I wonder if it's going to be spicy this afternoon. These pants make me gassy. I'm not wearing those. I want something comfortable. When I tell you that my head is killing me, my head is pounding, honey. My belly's growling, my head's pounding, I'm falling apart. Am I the only one that walks around feeling like shit like 90% of the time? Or is this just, we just supposed to live with it and we never talk about it? Because I'm telling you, I feel like shit all the time. And it's not just from like detoxing. Like I just go through, I told my doctor one time, I said, oh, look, it, like the iPhones, they have like, you can keep up with your period on them. And I'm talking to my doctor and I'm like, oh, this week I have all of these symptoms right before I ovulate. And then I go through ovulation and I hurt. And then the week before my period. And then the week of my period. And I'm like breaking this shit down. And I'm like, yeah, it's like 2 weeks out of a month. I feel like shit. And she says, Brooke, she says, that's 3 weeks out of the month. I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. Lovely. Lovely. Love that for me. All right, so I got this little white shirt. It's cream tank top that's all... Oh, God, I need to eat or something. I feel so nauseous. Black pants. Ripped jeans. 90s baggy. Oh, I'll probably just wear my Crocs because I'm lazy. Where's my bag? Sometimes I just need a minute. I feel like I'm gonna die. Damn it. Sick of feeling like this. I don't want to feel like this. I need a hair clip because I'm not washing it. But I am going to do something to it because it looks like I had a wild night. I did. Rolling around in bed by myself. Freaking. I woke up, my hair was matted, my like face and stuff. I was like, oh my God, what happened last night? I can't take the hair in my face. I have to clip it up. Toothbrush. What do I need? I cannot believe I only got like $13 back for that freaking battery. That is crazy. All that work. And y'all, let me tell you, it was a pain in the ass getting under that hood and getting those things apart. Oh my God, I wanted to just cry. Getting that battery out, I had to literally remove the bolt for the freaking coolant and move the coolant over to even get that battery out. And then, y'all, the damn thing weighed like 100 damn pounds. Gone now. And it's not enough space to actually like get down in there and get that battery at an angle. You got to get it a certain way to get it out. It was a pain. And then put all those bolts back and everything back together. But hell, I was talking and I said, I bet you money if I would have took it to High Point Chevrolet, they would have charged me $600 to put the battery in it because the battery was $306. And then the labor to do that They would have charged me $200. Absolutely. It would have been $500, hands down, for me to get that battery changed out. So I actually saved myself money by doing it the way that I did it. But it was still a pain in the ass. But I haven't had any electrical problems thus far. Everything seems to be working great now. I need to clean out that building, but I just physically do not have the fucking energy. People don't understand. Look how hard it is for me to even shower. Like, your mind wants to, but your body says, nope, not today, bitch. Alright, I need to eat. I'm gonna starve to death. I hope y'all have a good afternoon. And pray for me, because God knows I need it. And I'm praying for you guys. We'll catch up in a little while when I look like myself and feel like myself. Bye, y'all.